from Learfield. This is the Buckeye Roundtable Show presented by Burger King and brought to you statewide by the American Dairy Association Mideast and Cova Insurance, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers on the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with former OSU All-American Jim Lachey and the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, here's your host, Skip Mosic.
And hi again, everybody. Welcome into another Buckeye Roundtable show as Ohio State disposes of Purdue and gets set for their regular season finale road game this week. A trip to Chicago to face Northwestern, joined as always on the Buckeye Roundtable by former OSU All-American, NFL All-Pro Jim Lachey. Mid-November now.
It is, baby. Time's flying.
Hall of Fame broadcaster, longtime voice of the Buckeyes, who was in Vegas when we did this a week ago. Welcome back, Paul. Great to see you.
Well, it is nice to be back here with you rather than in that smoky casino.
Coach Ryan Day will join us later this hour. 45-0 Ohio State over Purdue. Balanced offense, 173 on the ground, 204 through the air. They block a punt that leads to a score, and the defense pitches a shutout. Was this the most complete game we've seen from this team this year?
I think it was. You take into consideration, Skip, the difficulty that Purdue has, but maybe the most impressive thing is they did what they're supposed to do. They maintained the good groove they had coming out of the Penn State game. A big emotional win. Could there have been a letdown? Yeah, this was a perfect setup for that. But no, this team went out and took care of business and choked off the opponent the way they should.
No, from start to finish. They got there, and, obviously the only really bad thing was the 3-and-out to start the ball game, you know what I mean? And after that, they kind of got things together and made some plays and took it down the field and got a special teams play there to, put him in position. And 4 plays later, they pounded it in the end zone. And good to see Will Howard getting it done with his feet again.
Paul alluded to this. I know it's only Purdue, but on the heels of the big win at Penn State, how much do you like the trajectory that this team appears to be on right now?
Very much so. One of the things that we heard and was a concern was getting pressure on the quarterback, and they were able to do that. They were able to force the turnover and get a defensive score. As Jim, you said, block a punt. They were able to do the kind of things that everybody's been talking about, but also just coming out and keeping that pressure going. Pressure meaning high performance, pressuring an opponent, but keeping positive pressure going.
Shut down the running attack, Maccabee was able to make a few plays there, but, they had nothing in that passing game. Overall, our defense was impressive. And, hey, anytime you can put that donut on the scoreboard, you get a shutout at the end of the game. It's a great feeling and a great effort by everybody. As Paul said, they put pressure on the quarterback, 4 sacks in that ball game, and a scoop and score.
Second game with the updated offensive line, Jim. How'd they do and what improvement? I'm sure you see things that many of us don't notice down there. What do you see from that unit from week 1 to week 2?
The only sack was when Will slipped on the turf and fell down. So besides that, it was a clean slate, so that was improved. The pass blocking was good. The run blocking was what it needed to be, and we started, in the third quarter, I'm kind of looking at my stats and the stats up in the press box in our booth and saying, 60-some yards rushing. We got to fix that. Next thing you know, Travion goes for 29 and then another 19, and, we end up with 170 pluses. But the running game in the first half, maybe not where they wanted it to be, but in the second half, they were able to find some holes. And, credit Chip Kelly for finding out what they're doing, trying to attack us and, making some changes and getting it done.
We'll talk about this throughout the evening, but Ohio State's defense has not allowed a touchdown since the late score against Nebraska. What has been the most impressive thing you've seen on that side of the ball?
The fact that so many people and from so many points of that defense are they creating the positive things they're making happen, whether it's the pass rush finally getting to the quarterback, whether it's Lathan Ransom getting an interception, the linebackers making some of the plays that they've made, that it's not been just one part of the defense, it's been all portions of it.
Yeah, you're right. All 3 phases have stepped up. Our linebackers have played extremely well these last couple games. Cody Simon, again, the leading tackler for Ohio State. Sonny Styles right there doing his thing. Caleb Downs, can you believe his safety's got 5.5 tackle for losses? He's coming from 15, 20 yards out and making those plays. Lathan Ransom coming up with a turnover there and getting some nice return yards afterwards. Pressure on the quarterback, causes some of those things to happen. So, all 3 phases are getting it done.
Buckeye fans, you can turn every game into a home gate this season with help from your neighborhood Giant Eagle. Stock up on your favorites from brands like Pringles, Cheez-It, and Coca-Cola, or choose from delicious catering options. Giant Eagle is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Saturday, Ohio State is at Northwestern. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. And quick reminder that tonight's Buckeye Roundtable, along with all of our Buckeye Roundtables throughout the season, are available on our flagship station's YouTube page. Simply search WBNS on YouTube. You can be WBNS Radio on YouTube. You can watch it live or later. If you miss any part of it, you can also download the Buckeye Roundtable podcast wherever you find your podcasts, and be sure to subscribe to both. Up next, tonight's 60-second timeout as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
For 100 years, our passionate Atlas Butler has been helping people. From those who have relied on us for years to those who call us for the first time. For our team, their families, and our community, Atlas Butler is here to keep Central Ohio safe and comfortable with trusted, convenient service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler's at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes. Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care.
Buckeye Roundtable, 60-second timeout.
Lots to get into tonight, fellas. The next CFP rankings will be announced in about an hour. It will really be unprecedented, with 4 Big Ten teams expected to be in or near the top 5. I always chuckle when I read and hear the arguing about those numbers, because we know they won't stay that way. They can't. It's impossible. But barring upsets, do you see all 4 teams making the 12-team field?
All 4 from the Big Ten?
Yes.
Distinctly very possible when you consider some of the chaos that has occurred in places like the Big 12. the SEC maybe is keeping themselves in that position, but, some crazy things could happen there. So I think it's very, very possible, especially if you look at, if Indiana comes here and has a competitive defeat, and that's their only loss, and they don't go to the Big Ten championship game. If Purdue wins out, Oregon takes care of doing what they've got to do, and Ohio State does what we hope, I don't think that's out of the possibility.
Yeah, Penn State winning out, I think, is a key there. Indiana, with that one loss, I still think even if it does get a little bit, 2 touchdowns or whatever, within that, they're going to go with one loss. Ohio State, if they take care of their business, I still think that they could lose to Oregon in the Big Ten championship game and still make it with 2 losses. In Oregon, I think, however that plays out, if they're both one-loss teams and you got, you'd end up having 4 one-loss teams from the Big Ten, and all those teams would make it. It's depending on how it all turns out.
Still 3 weeks of the regular season remain. 2 of the top 5 were upset last weekend. Way too early to say anyone's out, but it's going to be tough as the number of 2-loss teams continues to rise, and it's just going to see you just pushing out one or the other, and that's why I think it's important for Ohio State to continue to win and not leave any doubt as far as it's out there as far as a 2-loss.
Well, Skip, and especially if a 2-loss team does not get into their conference championship game. As we've seen in the previous inventations of the playoffs, that not having that data point can really be crucial. That's, where Notre Dame gets in a little bit of a difficult spot at times, too, because of not having a conference championship game. So a 2-loss team that the second loss is in a conference championship game maybe isn't as damaging as a 2-loss team that doesn't make it.
Yeah, I agree. There's not going to be – there'll be a 2-loss team I think will make it just looking at these things. But a 3-loss team, there's no opportunity. There's no chance for that to happen. So you got to take care of your business and make sure that you finish out these next 3 games. And, I think like we've heard in the locker room the last couple of weeks, the playoffs have started for Ohio State. I mean, if their goal is to win a Big Ten championship, then they got to take care of business each and every week.
All right, up next, Will Howard. 21 of 26 passing for Howard, 260 and 3 touchdowns. He also ran for another. We'll hear from Howard next hour. But what did you like the most from his performance on Saturday?
Just how calm and collected he seems to operate. And that's not just Saturday, Skip. It's what he's been doing all year. How he's able to spread the football. And did you hear that he does like noon kickoffs, though? He says he plays better at noon. However, just that he's done the things that he was brought here to do. And maybe most impressively, he's not trying to do too much.
I think all players like noon kickoffs and all coaches like noon kickoffs, regardless of what the fans think. Well, yeah, exactly. But, it doesn't matter what we think. But for the players, I know as a former player, the worst thing was waiting around all day, for that. And so I think, but what's Will doing good? I think he's managing the offense. I think he's understanding getting the ball in the right players' hands. Obviously it's easy to think about Jeremiah Smith and forcing him, but, he's getting it to Mecca. He got it to G. Scott. And then the ability to run the football. We just haven't had that, that X factor, so to speak, by having the quarterback run be a factor. Having him have that ability to do that really takes this offense, I think, to the next level.
Turf Monster got him a couple of times. When you see that, is it a shoe issue? Is it a turf issue? It happened on the same end of the field. Am I just reading too much of a coincidence as far as that goes?
Yeah, it could be all of the above, but that's something that has to be looked at. I know that he talked about it. He said, hey, that's making me look unathletic. I got to step up and get some shoes. And I don't know if he's wearing 7 studs or molded bottoms or, the plastic bottoms, whatever he's got to find something that's, number one, comfortable and to fit your foot good. And then, go out there and experiment with some different shoes out there so you don't have that factor. But we've seen that happen a couple times. It happened in Oregon, so that was, a turf too. So I would think it is, something that he's got to look at and go out there and practice. As Coach Day talked about today, it's the same turf at their practice field that they have over at the stadium. So I would think if he's falling down in practice all the time, they would, hey, you need to try something else and, get some different shoes out there. But, I think we've seen it several times where it has become an issue.
All right, next, speaking of turf, let's talk about if it might be a challenge this week playing at Wrigley. Sod on the baseball infield. Jim, you may have played on similar, and we know you played on similar multi-use stadiums with natural grass. San Diego, Oakland, Cleveland. Don't know if you ever played at Shea or not.
Well, Cincinnati, but that was
that was on turf, not going on grass. I'm talking where they actually sodded the infield.
Yeah. They didn't sod it. It was dirt until
baseball ended.
Yeah.
But after they put sod down, was that sod good, or was were you slipping around?
No, it was fine. I mean, it was great. The Bermuda grass that we had out in San Diego was perfect. There was never an issue with that. You just now in a northern climate, it could be a little bit tougher because you're not as getting as much sunlight and rain and the warmth and things like that helps the grass grow. But we had the best turf ever out in San Diego, so that was never an issue. We just, had to get past baseball season. The Padres had to, if they made the playoffs, it was like, oh no, this is going to be another week or two. But
on the dirt.
Yeah, on the dirt. And those dirt, it wasn't regular dirt. It was kind of I don't know. It was
gravelish?
Yeah, gravelish dirt. There was a little bit of rocks in there, pebbles, and that would nick up your skin, and you'd have burns and stuff like that, and scabs. But that was just part of it playing out in San Diego. But I don't think it'll be an issue. Now, the issue, I think, with Wrigley is the tight end zones. I mean, we're talking arena football, like, tight end zones where you got pads everywhere, and those corner routes, you got to, be ready to take one like a hockey player. You got to take it up into the wall, in the glass.
Just let them know you're there. It's all right. All right, real quickly, rate the opponent. We've all heard from everybody, really the last month, every coach that they've played that Purdue goes up against, they're not as bad as their record. Coaches say that. Tim Newton told you during the pregame that was not the case, Paul, that they are what they are. They finished with Penn State, at Michigan State, and at Indiana. Do they win another football game?
No, I don't think so. Unless, now this was a thing that might have given any Purdue fans hope, because 2 of the last 3 games prior to Saturday, they were able to get the game into overtime. They were able to have big second-half comebacks. They weren't even close to sniffing a second-half comeback this past Saturday. They probably don't win another game, and because you never know for sure watching, but it certainly didn't appear there was a lot of spirits, shall we say, on the sideline there while that game was going on.
Without Devin Mockabee, they really had nothing offensively. Yeah. I thought their tight end, Max Clear, they targeted him 6 times. He ended up with 2 catches in that game, but they just didn't have anybody to wide receiver. They could take the pressure off him or make some plays. Hudson Card, we've seen him play better football games, but, 9 of 19. 1 interception. It's just not going to get it done.
Can you imagine what that Indiana game's going to be like? Especially since they beat Indiana last year.
Is that for the
Tom Allen his job?
Oak and Bucket? Yeah.
Oak and Bucket.
All right, real quick on this week. Northwestern, the biggest challenge the Wildcats present is what?
They are very good defensively, and especially in the red zone. So that's probably the thing. Now, Ohio State's been phenomenal in the red zone, and they've also been good defensively in stopping the run. So, another challenge to Ohio State to get the running game going.
I think when you look at their offense, they're 18th in the Big Ten in scoring. They're 18th on third down conversion. So, your defense leads and helps you win championships. Our defense is going to step up again and, give us some short fields to work with, along with our special teams like they did last week. So, get some turnovers, get some points off turnovers, things like that. And, I think our offense matches up pretty well with this defense. When I look at their defensive line, they're just not as big as some of the defensive lines that we've gone in weight-wise. I think we'll be all right to pound the rock and run the football against them.
Up and at 'em. Early game on Saturday. Unfamiliar environments. Any concerns in regards to that?
Oh, sure. You mean beyond us? Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I have plenty of concerns.
Yeah, I know
what we do. But.
Well, and as Ryan Day talked about in the press conference there, and it's not their normal mode of operation. They're going to go see Wrigley Field on Friday just to kind of get a feel of what they're dealing with. Concerned, yeah. Overly concerned, nah.
Didn't they do it at Oregon, too, I think? Didn't they?
They did, just because of the first trip there.
Yeah, taking a bus trip, check out the stadium for the first time, look around, and, basically it's just a walkthrough. You walk on the field, you take a look at the sidelines, you find out where the time clocks are going to be, just so you not have, just get some of that settled before you have to go in there and play the game early on.
They're going to have the organ going this
Sunday morning.
The baseball organ's going to be
the old stylized down.
Yeah, to the ball game.
All right. Kind of a light weekend around the Big Ten, but we will break it down for you next as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access
to cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center. Hey, Ohio State fans, it takes a lot of energy to root for the Buckeyes. That's why Burger King is going to get your team going with the $20 Buckeye Blitz Bundle. This OSU fan exclusive has a delicious lineup that includes 2 Whopper sandwiches, 1 cheeseburger, 3 small fries, and 3 small drinks. Get over to your local BK and get fueled up for game day. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, CEO. Coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices like America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through December 2nd, you can lease a Camry LE from just $269 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show is presented by Burger King with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. Buckeye fans, say goodbye to higher rates with a fixed price plan from AEP Energy. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's time for the Buckeye Roundtable Big Ten Breakdown.
Lawton back in the ball game. Here's the snapback. And Curtis looks. Fires it deep down the field. He's got Elijah Surratt. Touchdown! 36 yards on the throw by Rourke on the money. And Elijah Surratt makes a terrific play as well. Indiana on top now, 13-3.
Don Fisher on Learfield. Indiana controlled the first half. It was enough as they beat Michigan 20-15.
You know, I think everybody was anxious to see how would Indiana handle being in a close game because all of their other games they had won by double figures, and they handled it very well. They had a crucial punt return that gave them great position to set up one of their scores. And, you know, even though Michigan really probably played better than a lot of people thought they would, in particular on the defensive side, what Indiana really did showed the mettle of this team because their schedule didn't have people really wowed, but this was impressive what they did against Michigan.
No, we've said it all year. They're a well-coached football team, and offensively they got some talent. They got, some plays that'll step up, and those guys do a good job executing. And, they had that 17-3 halftime lead for Indiana, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be another one. I didn't think they were going to get 40, but I thought they'd get in the 30s. But, give credit to Michigan. They made some adjustments, slowed them down a little bit, and and made it a little bit closer ball game there at the end. But, like Coach Signetti says, you don't care if you win by 20 or win by 5. They all count the same.
Signetti's a piece of work, man. Did you see him, his on-camera post-game on the field interview saying, what's our record now?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. It's like, stop.
Does he remind you of anybody?
He exactly reminds me of somebody that we knew intimately very, very well.
Let's not go that far.
Almost too well. To State College, where Penn State hosted Washington.
3:27 remaining in the half. 3rd and goal at the 2 near hash, attacking the north end zone to our left. Warren is the quarterback. They split Aller out to the far side. Ioane in motion. Warren takes it. Up the middle he goes. To his left. Touchdown. Penn State. The Nittany Lions do it again.
Steve Jones, Penn State Network. Do you think anybody there was asking where was that last week as Penn State buries Washington 35-6?
Well, they tried to do some of that stuff with Tyler Warren, and to Ohio State's credit, they really, and maybe one of the biggest plays was when Denzel Burke knocked Warren out of bounds before they got to the goal line. But, here's Penn State's team with fans questioning what was going on, chanting for the head coach to be fired, all of this stuff.
What's your name?
Yeah, they got right back on their horse, and they played well. And this is a team that still can see a path, as we talked about, to getting into the college football playoffs if they take care of what's in front of them.
Well, Penn State found a running game. They didn't really have that much against Ohio State. They ran for 286 in that ball game. And, Ohio State kind of had a blueprint of how to defend against Tyler Warren. I don't know if they switched up a lot of things, but he ended up with 8 catches in that ball game.
At least gave him the ball, though, Jim. That was a difference.
They went to it. But, he was well covered against Ohio State. And Aller played a little bit better than he did against the Buckeyes.
To Eugene, where top-ranked Oregon hosted Maryland.
Ducks adjust defensively. Stamp Edwards Jr. back to throw. Looks middle. Hit. Ball came out. That might be a fumble. All the way downfield quickly. Brandon Johnson. Nobody can catch him from behind. 10, 5. Touchdown. If it's ruled a fumble. Touchdown Oregon. Brandon Johnson picked it up on the run, and nobody with Maryland, I don't think, was even aware that it had happened until he got probably 15 yards downfield.
Jerry Allen on Learfield. Ducks beat the Terps 39-18.
Dylan Gabriel becomes the all-time leader in FBS touchdown pass. Now, he's played for a decade, so that helps to say that jokingly. But, and they did this without Tez Johnson, who may be out for a while with the injury that he sustained. But here's the impressive thing about Oregon. They just, after those first 2 games at the beginning of the season they had, where there was a little dicey, but they won. And after the Ohio State win, they've just continued to take care of business and been impressive doing it, going right down the path.
Yeah, and the guy that got thrown out of the Ohio State game, Holden, he ended up with 6 catches for 149 in that ball game. But the Ducks ended up with 12 penalties in that ball game, which kind of held them back a little bit for 95 yards. So, I mean, it was a good win, but not as clean as they normally have. But, credit Maryland for fighting in there for a little bit, especially when you look at the first half, it was 21-10.
To Piscataway, Minnesota had been on a roll. Could they keep it going at Rutgers?
Antoine Raymond to the left of Callie McManus. Athan takes the snap. Blitz is coming. He turns. He throws. Caught. Touchdown! Untouched is Ian Strong for the Rutgers score. And the Scarlet Knights take the lead with 7:41 left.
Chris Carlin on Learfield. Knights snapped the Gophers' winning streak 26-19.
Of course, Athan Callie McManus played for Minnesota previously, and Rutgers played this game without Kyle Monangai. So impressive they were able to do that. They're positioned to be 1 win away now from going to a bowl, which for Rutgers, just getting to a bowl game, it seemed like was always a major goal. Now, we joked a lot early in the year because of their schedule. We thought that they could do maybe bigger things than what they've done, but give Coach Schiano credit for what they've done.
Yeah, and, Minnesota kind of got away from their identity. They ran the ball for, 19 times for 35 yards, and that's just not what they do. I mean, they're usually, 150 to 200-yard rushing if they're going to win those football games. They because they couldn't run, Brosmer had to step up and make some plays, and, he did. I mean, he was, but he had to throw 45 times, completed 27. Sure. They just won enough to get it done against Rutgers and their defensive tag. Give them credit. The Scarlet Knights found a way to get a win, and they're 1 away from being bowl eligible.
The Rose Bowl is our final stop. Friday night, UCLA hosted Iowa.
Once again, Jones not hard in the running back. Blitz coming. It's picked up. Pass away. Leap by Loya. He's got it. Bangs to the 2. Gets to the goal line. Touchdown, UCLA. Caught it in traffic. Beautifully done. A perfect pass. He pinballed off of Quinn Schulte, off of Deshaun Lee, into the end zone. The Bruins, with 55 seconds left in the half, are on top.
Josh Lewin on UCLA Network. Bruins climb out of a 10-0 hole to beat Iowa 2017.
You know, you think about UCLA, and remember they had that late coaching change when Chip Kelly left and Deshaun Foster took over, and it seems like maybe they've now started to get a little traction with what they're doing, and especially with the way Ethan Garbers is playing at quarterback.
Iowa's got quarterback issues. Sullivan went out. They brought in Jackson Stratton. Stratton was a linebacker a week ago on the team, and he moved over. Cade McNamara, of course, he's still out with that concussion. What UCLA did, they shut down their rushing attack. Caleb Johnson couldn't ever get on track, and Iowa ended up with 80 yards rushing in that game. And that's just they're not going to win games like that. They need to rush for 250, 300 if they want to control that line of scrimmage, and they just get it done. Hey, the 2 time zones, whatever it was, going out to the West Coast, it just didn't work well for the Hawkeyes.
Coming up this week, Friday night, UCLA is at Washington. Saturday, in addition to Ohio State at Northwestern, Michigan State is at Illinois. Purdue hosts Penn State. Nebraska is at USC. Maryland hosts Rutgers. Oregon is at Wisconsin. 3 weeks left. Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana all control their own destiny to Indy. Penn State, it's wait and see what they have left. Oregon at Wisconsin, and then Washington at home. IU coming here, obviously, to Ohio State, close with Purdue, Penn State at Purdue, at Minnesota, at Maryland, all right, home with Maryland. So something obviously is going to have to give, mainly Ohio State, Indiana.
Well, and it's going to be interesting to see Oregon, too, going back across the time zone. They've already done it once going to Ann Arbor. And Wisconsin is, we know what kind of place Camp Randall Stadium could be. Is that a night game?
It is a night game. It is a night game.
It doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter. But you never really know for sure. And then they've got their rivalry game at the end. Washington's not playing up to snuff, but that's, again, the impressive thing about Oregon, how they've just continued to take care of business.
Penn State at Purdue, huh? That'll be an easy one for them.
I think it's all easy for them. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
in Nebraska, with Dana Horgenson calling that now, against USC. We'll see how that works out, but I don't know if Wisconsin has it, in them right now. I mean, they're struggling, and Oregon's playing at a high level.
They got to count on the crowd.
Yeah.
Count on the tailgaters.
The schedule is what it is, but, you look at Penn State, their toughest game was against Ohio State, and it was like same thing with Indiana. Just Ohio State. You didn't know Michigan was going to be this down, but you look at that schedule, the only thing that they have is against Ohio State. So no, the whole season.
You kind of figured out when Michigan early on, when you figured out they didn't have a quarterback, it made it awful tough for them.
In this expanded conferences, that's what kind of happens with some of these loops in the schedule.
Join Coach Ryan Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day airs Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and is available at OhioStateBuckeyes.com. Up next, we are scheduled to be joined by Ohio State coach Ryan Day as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
As the official hot dog of Ohio State athletics, Sugardale is dedicated to delicious. Whether you're cheering on the Buckeyes at the game or grilling at your home tailgate, you can count on Sugardale to score a touchdown. Made right here in Ohio for more than 100 years, Sugardale has always taken a personal approach to making great-tasting, high-quality meats. Look for Sugardale hot dogs, bacon, ham, and more at your local grocery store.
Family dinners, game nights, and holiday parties. It all happens at home, and we want to help you realize your dream of homeownership. We're the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, and if you're ready to buy a home, we may be able to help. Visit myohiohome.org for more information on down payment assistance, lower interest rates, and more. OFA makes purchasing a home more affordable. Visit myohiohome.org. Home ownership. Make it part of your future.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This is Ohio State head football coach Ryan Day, asking you to help provide 2 million meals to feed our community. Just round up at the register today. Every dollar provides 10 meals for neighbors in need. Get in the game and let's tackle hunger.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. Ohio State at Northwestern coming up on Saturday. It'll be a 12 noon kick. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. We're scheduled to be joined by Ohio State coach Ryan Day coming up here in just a couple of moments. But, guys, we talked about it before when speaking of the Ohio State defense. We saw a defensive touchdown on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We know how huge and how much of a game changer that can be.
We've seen it in past years, and certainly that one, especially in a short field like that. And, Jim, you've talked about how guys drill all of that, the scoop and score and everything, but to see it executed, see guys be able to get it, and a guy like Jack Sawyer pick it up on balance and run, impressive.
Yeah, and Jalen Tulimoloa stepping up and making big plays, and he was very active in that game. 7 straight games now that he's had a TFL, and got a sack in there. Was able to strip the football, so he got a forced fumble, and then like Jack Sawyer said, there was no intention of me falling on that football. I was going to pick it up and run and get in the end zone, and he did. He scampered 11 yards and was able to get in there. And that's a dream, especially for an Ohio kid to find a way on defense to score in Ohio Stadium. That dream came true for him, and he said he had some kind of dance all planned, and he was going to do it, but he just kind of blacked out, and I don't know if he handed the ball to the ref, and that was it. But no, just a big moment right there, and obviously, what was that, 31-38 points? So it kind of just Katie barred the door after that. It was over, and it was over before that. But to see those guys step up, then you could start playing some depth and get some of the young guys in there, which they were able to do. You saw that really throughout the course of the game. I thought Caden Curry, got a lot of reps out there at defensive end, and along with the other guys, Kenyatta Jackson and Mitchell Melton and different guys that they were able to try. And how about Edric Houston, the true freshman, getting his first career start there, defensive tackle, with the injury to Tyleik Williams. Now, the good news is, looks like Tyleik Williams will be good to go this weekend with that ankle that he had. But just knowing that you have a lot of depth there, that you can, on occasion, pull a guy out like Tyleik, one of the best defensive tackles in the Big Ten, and really not miss a beat, you still get that shutout. So knowing Tyleik, he didn't want to miss that action. He wanted to be out there in the worst way, so he's going to, get healthy and get a chance to go against the Wildcats this weekend.
In addition to the defensive score, we saw a big special teams play. You get the blocked kick like that. It's very rare that you're going to see both of those in the same game, but kudos to Ohio State.
Well, and the coaches have been, and especially Ryan Day, had been talking for weeks about they felt like things were coming, whether it was a return, whether it was a block. And, you think about the discipline of a guy running right at the punter and getting the ball, not the punter. That's what makes that even that much more impressive.
Well, the thing about Purdue, you had a lot of snaps, a lot of opportunities watching them punt with their offense this year. So they had a pretty good book on what they're trying to do in that punting game, and they were able to overload the left defensive side, the right side on the other side, and get it done.
When you start taking a look at what's to come, it's special teams is always so huge, especially when you get into this month, this time of the year, just a couple of games left, because we know that those can make the difference big time as far as the outcome of a football game.
I think that's why we saw Travion Henderson back there to return a kick, getting a guy that's a playmaker to get another chance to have his hands on the football. And, whether it's a turnover or block punt, but those are the kind of plays that seem to have such a big emotional effect on a game. It certainly does for the fans. Obviously, it does for the players.
And you knew Travion 2 yards deep in that end zone. No. I don't get many opportunities here. I'm taking this thing out, and he did. And, let's face it, a missed field goal cost us an opportunity to go play in a national championship a few years ago. So we know how important special teams are each and every week. And I think Jaden Fielding's getting the confidence as you would want. And so is Joey McGuire. I think he's had his best punting this last 3 or 4 games. And that's going to have to continue throughout these next, 6, 7, 8 games, however's left in this regular season. As long as they can extend it. Our special teams are going to have to step up and get it done. And, heck, you saw it with the Kansas City Chiefs. They got a chance to block a field goal to win a ball game. So all those little things start to add up when you get to this time of the year.
All right, Cole, what we're going to do here, we're going to go to break, and we'll get Tim on maybe a couple of minutes early. If we get Coach, we get him. But we'll take a quick timeout. So we'll hit the red zone with Tim May. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
Where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices like the best-selling RAV4. Now through December 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 24 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
The National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Columbus preserves and shares the stories of our nation's veterans from all branches and all eras of service. With a gift of $20 or more, you can honor a veteran in your life by dedicating a flag in their name to be displayed on the museum's expansive grounds on Veterans Day weekend. Your gift will be matched, and your veteran's name will be shared on our website. Learn more at nationalvets.org.
Hey Columbus, looking for the perfect day trip? Head to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Dive into football history, see legendary players, and enjoy interactive exhibits. Fun for the whole family. Visit ProFootballHOF.com for tickets. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, where it's always football season.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. This This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, presented by Burger King, where you rule. Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mosic. For every Buckeye touchdown scored this season, the Heartland Bank Community Foundation will make a donation to the USO of Central and Southern Ohio, benefiting our active duty military personnel and their families. For more information or to support our troops, go to usocso.org and be the force behind the forces.
Buckeye Roundtable Red Zone.
Joined inside the red zone by Tim May of Letterman Row. We still hope to hear from Coach Day coming up in just a couple of minutes. But, Tim, with the shutout on Saturday, boy, the Ohio State's defense has not allowed a touchdown in 8 quarters. After some things were called into question following the Oregon game, what stands out the most about how Ohio State is playing on the defensive side of the ball to you?
The way they're just getting after it. I mean, obviously there are a few little scheme changes and things, but the bottom line is just the way the whole team is getting after it. And I really do believe it's you can look at a lot of guys, but the way the safeties are playing, and I include Jordan Hancock in that group, just a physical get after it kind of approach, I think, is paying off for them.
Tim, and the red zone, that's the name of this segment, and that's what Ohio State's been dominant offensively. They've scored a lot of touchdowns. I think 30 out of 34 of their trips inside the red zone have been touchdowns. They're at an 88% touchdown ratio there in the red zone. And defense, Ohio State offense is number 1, and the defense is number 1 in that area, in that red zone.
That's a pretty good deal. It also helps when the other team misses a couple of makeable field goals, right?
That
but
helps.
The bottom line is getting after it. That just goes part and parcel of what we're talking about. I mean, you've got to, the thing Ryan Day wants his team to play, the word he uses a lot is play violent, and this defense is doing that. I mean, they had three straight games with goal line stands. That just tells you all you need to know about the way they've turned up the wick. But, red zone, bottom line, this, Jim, we can talk about all kinds of things. When you score more points than the other team on a regular basis, you're playing pretty good football.
Tim, is it too much stating the obvious that Will Howard's doing what Will Howard was brought here for?
Yeah, and he's kind of kicking himself. He's looking for new cleats because a couple times he slipped down last week. Those were some plays that could have popped. I don't know if all the way to the bank, but or in the case this week at Wrigley Field, maybe for a home run. But the bottom line is, he's with the exception of a couple of 3 deep balls that he'd like back or like to throw farther, let's put it that way, I think he's playing extremely well. And, people can compare the stats between him and Dylan Gabriel right now, the Oregon quarterback, which are almost identical. But they're forgetting about the fact Dylan Gabriel right now, I think, is the most prolific yardage passer in NCAA history. So he's got a little bit of history going for him in the Heisman race along with what he's doing this year.
Tim, have you been impressed with Travion Henderson? I mean, 39 games that he's played here. He's got 42 career touchdowns. He's number 7 now in school history with career rushing yards.
Yeah, bottom line is, Jim, he's playing on a different level, I think, in the last couple of years, without a doubt. He's almost like a marionette out there, the way his feet are barely touching the ground. He's got some moves. He's showing some moves this year that he hadn't shown the last couple of years, basically because of injury and stuff. But the man, I'm telling you, he and Quinshawn both, the way they smack people in blocking is incredible. And, Chip Kelly shoved in an old Oregon play last week when he had Quinshawn Judkins lead Will Howard up through the hole there for one of those touchdowns. That's kind of what he used to do with Jeremiah Masoli way back at Oregon way back in the day. So, yes, he just, both of these guys are really complimenting Will Howard, who, as you noticed, is running more and more, it seems like, from one week to the next, which is huge for this offense.
Tim May, Letterman Row. Tim, we always appreciate your time. We'll see you in the Windy City coming up on Saturday, okay?
Always a pleasure, fellas.
All right, joined now for a couple of minutes by Ohio State coach Ryan Day. His comments are presented by Kroger. And Coach Day, thank you for your time. We know coaches are never totally happy, but what do you like best in regards to, I guess, the trajectory your team appears to be on now as we hit mid-November?
Yeah, well, I just think, once you hit November, all your goals are at the table. So, you got to be playing your best. You got to be on it. And we got to be physical, and we got to execute. And the more physical we are and the better we execute, the better the scores are going to look. And, I just think that approach has to be there. And then the second thing is, being consistent. That's one thing to, have a good game. There's a lot of teams across the country that have had good games. But, are we able to consistently do it week in and week out? And that's what November's all about.
Coach, 3 penalties in that ball game, but 0 on your offensive line. It's 2 weeks in a row now that they've been able to play clean football. And, you've used 4 different combinations this year. And I hope this combination sticks and stays healthy for a while.
I think they got a confidence and a rhythm right now, and we got to keep building on it. And each week you get a different style of defense that you're facing. Last week was the bare front, and this week it'll be more of the 4-down quarters and heavier techniques. And Northwestern does a nice job of stopping the run and always has. So we got to do a great job of getting double teams, getting movement, and getting guys to the second level, and then continuing to build on the pass protection. And but you're right. I mean, I think this group, there's a continuity there that hopefully we can continue here throughout November.
Coach, you talked a lot about establishing depth for the anticipation of a long season. Does it also help when you're able to play some of that depth in games like Saturday as far as players' engagement and practice from week to week?
I spoke to the staff on both sides of the ball and special teams, and they really wanted to get guys in the game and just make that decision, going into the game of when guys were going to get plays and what series, because all coaches are the same. They want to make sure that they're winning, and they want to make sure that their guys are doing their job. But a part of it is getting guys in the game and just letting them play. And I thought we did that. We had a lot of guys in the game. We're able to play depth, and I thought those guys who had an opportunity, some of them really took those plays as an opportunity to make a name for themselves. All the way into the end of the game. And that was the message I had for the team at the end of the game. For those type of guys is, hey man, every time you're on that field, it's an opportunity to make a name for yourself, and make sure you capture those opportunities, and then you build on it from there, and it helps build confidence. So, good to see some of those guys get on the field and grade out.
Coach, you've seen Jeremiah make plays. Carnell had 6 receptions. He was able to make plays, and Mecca's done it his whole career. But I'm impressed with G. Scott Jr. He made that transition to tight end, and you got him a little love, a little sugar there in that last game where he got that touchdown. He went in there, he blocked for, I don't know if that's a 2 count or 3 count, but he was hanging in that line for a while. And then he took off in that, behind the linebacker depth, and Will waited, timed that out perfect. And, he's got a nose for the end zone. He found a way to get in there. But just to see his progress and seeing it pay off for him now his senior year. Yeah,
and for the tight ends, the ability to have run-pass conflict is a real weapon. And that play in particular, I'm not sure if he sold it really well or if he had a hard time getting out. It just seemed to take for a while. And but I give the offensive line credit; they were battling in there and gave Will enough time. But like you said, I mean that was a man coverage, and we were able to put that linebacker in conflict, and so good to see G get in the end zone there. He's worked hard to get to this point, and he's going to be a big part of our offense again as we head to the back end of the season.
Safe to say that both for players and coaches, when you have success on a special teams effort like you had in bucking that punt, that kind of helps drive the point home of the importance of that in a game?
Well, we needed it. We've been putting a lot of work in, and that was the challenge going in. So it's good to challenge a group and then see some results on the field. So all of that was good. If we want to win these big games, special teams has to be a plus for us.
Coach, I know you talked about it this afternoon a little bit at your press conference. Just a little bit about the intrigue, I guess, of playing at Wrigley Field on Saturday.
Yeah, unique. Never been there for a football game. I was there once to watch a baseball game, and I've played football games at Yankee Stadium and then out in San Francisco, but not at Wrigley. But what a unbelievable history that Chicago Stadium, or Wrigley Field has, and in Chicago, and my memories of it was just how unique it was. That it was just kind of in a neighborhood, and all the different restaurants and bars that are surrounding it makes for such a great atmosphere. And so for some of our guys, who follow baseball, it'll be great. Guys like Carnell Tate will be going home. For others, it'll just be, a good experience to play at Wrigley Field. But ultimately, it's going to be 100 yards. There's going to be grass, and there'll be fans in the stands. And didn't spend a whole bunch of time on it today in the team meeting, but did explain to him what was going on, showed him a few pictures, explain to them what we're walking into.
Kevin Reese sent me a very long text saying that the grass there, the sod, is impeccable right now. So hopefully that's the case on Saturday. Okay, Coach?
Yeah, well, if you're saying so, then if it's not, I'm going to come looking for you.
I'm just repeating what your equipment manager did. Coach Day, we appreciate your time. We'll see you Thursday, okay?
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Again, Coach's comments are presented by Kroger. Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. Up next, hour number 2 of tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show. Our Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Player of the Award of the Week is next. Our American Dairy Association's Mideast's top high school performances and whip around the state. Our Insider's Access tonight, Patrick Murphy from 24/7 Sports will join us. All that and more straight ahead here on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Get ready, Buckeye fans. Donato's just added something special to the pizza playbook. Introducing Donato's new Block O pizza. Donato's golden thin crust cut in that trademark Block O shape, loaded with crispy pepperoni, smoked provolone cheese, and Buckeye Spirit. It's the perfect pizza for game day or any day in Buckeye country. Now get a Block O pizza for just $10 with any pizza purchase. Order today with the Donato's app or at donatos.com.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint. With their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind or grab a carryout. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Family dinners, game nights, and holiday parties. It all happens at home, and we want to help you realize your dream of homeownership. We're the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, and if you're ready to buy a home, we may be able to help. Visit myohiohome.org for more information on down payment assistance, lower interest rates, and more. OFA makes purchasing a home more affordable. Visit myohiohome.org. Home ownership. Make it part of your future.
Time for a halftime snack? Up your hosting game with Bob's Discount Furniture. Bob's has plenty of stylish, feature-packed bar carts, coffee tables, dining sets, even seating with drop-down drink tables for those times when you just can't miss a play. And best of all, you can find everything at Bob's everyday low prices. So stop by and score big when you shop Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good evening, everybody. Wells. We'll start with college football. As tonight, the second round of the college football playoff rankings are set to be released. We should have some movement within the top 10 as both number 3 Georgia and number 4 Miami lost this past weekend. Those rankings will be revealed between about 8:30 and 9 o'clock. On the field, second-ranked Ohio State heads to Chicago this weekend as the Buckeyes take on Northwestern at Wrigley Field. It's a 12 noon kickoff on Saturday between the Buckeyes and Wildcats. Network coverage gets started on Saturday morning at 10:30. In hockey tonight, the Blue Jackets wrap up their their 5-game road trip in Seattle. That's where the CBJ will face the Kraken. That one will get started at 10 tonight. Our pregame coverage will get underway at 9:30 right here on The Fan. And some notes from the NFL today. The Bears fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Passing game coordinator Thomas Brown will take over play calling there. And Jerry Jones confirmed that Dak Prescott will undergo surgery for his torn hamstring, and he'll be out for the season. Breaking sports news. When it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota. With more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, anything's possible. Like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through December 2nd, get any new Highlander or Grand Highlander with 5.99 APR financing up to 72 months, including hybrid models, with $1,657 per thousand borrowed. Subject to approved credit through TFS. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, is on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. Saturday, the Buckeyes are at Northwestern. More on that coming up, but right now, it's time to talk some high school football.
It's time for the Encova Insurance High School Player Award on Buckeye Roundtable.
One of the highlights of the Buckeye Roundtable show is the presentation of the Encova Insurance Archie Griffin Athlete of the Week Award. During each Roundtable show, Encova Insurance and the Ohio State Sports Network honors a high school athlete for their outstanding play and team leadership. And tonight's recipient is senior wide receiver / defensive back Patrick Radigan from Lake Catholic High School. It's up in Mentor. Friday night, Radigan had 7 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown. He also had a couple of tackles on defense and recovered a fumble on defense as well, and blocked a punt on special teams as Lake Catholic defeated Mogador Field 35-3. The Cougars are coached by Marty Gibbons. They're 12-0 and will face 9-3 Glenville in the Division IV Region 13 semis Friday night in Paynesville. Again, congratulations to Patrick Radigan from Lake Catholic High School, the recipient of this week's Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. Encova Insurance, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtable's American Dairy Association Mideast top performers and our whip around the state.
Quite a performance there by that young man up in Mentor. But tell you what, this might be my favorite week of high school football's Week 12, and so many great performances all across the state.
Yeah, it sounds like he never left the field. Pickerington North wide receiver Preston Bowman had 3 receptions for 102 yards, including an 85-yarder for a touchdown. Also rushed for another score as Pickerington North defeated Pick Central 35-14.
How about Padua Franciscan running back Roderick Love, 26 carries, 204 yards, pair of touchdowns, added 62 receiving yards as Padua advanced past Buckeye 39-34.
Cincinnati Princeton running back Tarantino Brown Freeman ran for 203 yards and a pair of touchdowns in Princeton's 37-7 victory over Hamilton.
Olentangy Berlin quarterback Aiden Evanston, 3 for 8 passing, 46 yards and a touchdown. Also ran 22 times for 103 yards as Berlin defeated Gahanna 17-14.
Mentor linebacker Spencer Barninger had 8 tackles, including a sack, and 2 TFLs as Mentor shut out Strongsville 33-0.
Moeller quarterback Matt Ponatowski, 16 for 21 passing for 313 yards and 5 touchdowns as Moeller blew past Lakota East 55-28.
I got a Bobcat for you. Grandview Heights running back Henry Ollinger had 18 carries for 142 yards and both of his team's touchdowns as Grandview Bobcats defeated Colonel Crawford 13-6.
Benedictine running back Chris Maloney, 20 carries, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns in Benedictine's 28-6 win over Defiance.
St. Bernard Elmwood Place Yeah, Elmwood Place. Yep. Running back linebacker Damian Dawson had 4 rushing touchdowns and on defense had a pair of interceptions and forced a fumble in their 49-21 victory over Portsmouth West.
Hilliard-Davidson quarterback Johnny DeBlasio, 10 of 13 passing, 143 yards and a touchdown. He also ran 12 times for 81 yards and another score as Davidson defeated Hilliard-Bradley 34-12.
Highland running back Casey Meiser had 28 carries for 255 yards and 4 touchdowns as Highland eliminated Toledo St. Francis 49-20.
And St. Xavier kicker Owen Davidson, 3 big field goals, helping lead the St. X Bombers past Windwoods 22-10.
Great job, fellas. We'll begin our weekly whip around the state. A big whip tonight in Northwest Ohio. Some big games on both sides of the ball as we hear from WNDH's Dave Kleck.
A couple of sophomores had big performances in Northwest Ohio playoff football. Liberty Center Tiger sophomore Garrison Cruz rushed for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns on just 8 carries. On defense, he had 14 tackles and a pick in Liberty Center's 35-0 win over Liberty Benton. And sophomore wide receiver Logan Olinger had 12 catches, 188 yards, and a score. But Fairview would fall to Ottawa Hills in playoff football. From WNDH in Napoleon, I'm Dave Kleck.
Down to Mercer County, where the hits just keep on coming. Here's WCSM's Ron Brunswick.
Same old, same old. Number 1, Marion Local picks up their 60th straight win in Week 12, knocking off the Tri-Village Patriots 56-14 at Booster Stadium. The Flyers are now 12-0 on the season. Marion Local led 42-6 at the halftime break and played with the running clock for the 11th time this year. They were led by first-team All-Conference senior running back Parker Hess. Hess had 155 yards on 16 touches and 4 touchdowns on runs of 8, 36, and 4. He now has 14 touchdowns on the season. The Flyer, one of 5 MAC teams playing in the regional semis, the 3-time defending state champions will now face number 9 Ansonia at Lima Spartan Stadium on Friday night in the Region 24 semifinal. Ron Brunswick, for your sports leader, WCSM.
Southwest in Montgomery County, some big quarterback plays. We get analysis from WING's Justin Kinner.
We all know how talented the Greater Western Ohio Conference is. However, I'd like to go out on a limb and say that I think the most valuable player in the entire conference has to be the quarterback for the Wayne Warriors, Tyrell Lewis. The Wayne Warriors were 1-4 to start the season without him. Since he has returned, they are now 7-5, including 2 postseason wins, the most recent being a big 20-10 win on the road over the regular season GWAC champions, the Fairmont Firebirds. Tyrell Lewis threw for 133 yards, rushed for 80-plus yards, had 2 touchdowns on the night in the Warriors' win over the Fairmont Firebirds. For ESPN 1410 Wing AM, I'm Justin Kinner in Dayton.
To Southern Ohio as we check in with WNXT's Mark Williams.
As they usually are, the Wheelersburg Pirates are the last Scioto County team standing after a thrilling 28-23 victory on the road last Friday night at Union Local in the quarterfinal round of the OHSAA playoffs. Junior running back Elijah Brown carried the ball 24 times for 111 yards and a touchdown, and senior cornerback Xander Mowry picked off 2 passes, including 1 in the end zone, with 38 seconds to play to preserve the victory. Wheelersburg, a 14 seed, will face number 7 seed West Muskingum this Friday at Joe Burrow Stadium in Athens in the Division 5 Region 19 semifinals. Mark Williams, WNXT Radio, Portsmouth.
And for the other side of this week's matchup, here's WHIZ's David Kinder.
For the first time in school history, the West Muskingum Tornadoes are going to Week 13. They made the nearly 3-hour bus ride last Friday down to Proctorville to play 10-1 Fairland. West Muskingum running back Carter Winland got things going early, taking a swing pass 78 yards for the first touchdown of the game. Winland also chipped in 89 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown, and West Muskingum won 33-7. The 9-2 Tornadoes will play 8-4 Wheelersburg Friday at Joe Burrow Stadium in Athens in the Division 5 playoffs. Reporting for WHIZ Radio in Zanesville, I'm David Kinder.
All right, David, wild ending in Washington County on Friday. WMOA's Andy Rex to tell us about it.
Guys, a Maddox Huck interception with less than 30 seconds left in the game secured a 29-26 win for the Fort Fry Cadets over the Waterford Wildcats Friday night in a Region 23 quarterfinal. It capped a wild fourth quarter where the Cadets scored with just 2 minutes left to take a 29-17 lead. But the Wildcats returned the next kickoff to the 10-yard line and scored 2 plays later to make it 29-24. Instead of an onside kick, Waterford kicked deep, which would appear to allow Fort Fry to run it out. But a personal foul on the Cadets gave Waterford one final chance after Fort Fry took an intentional safety. The free kick was returned deep into Cadet territory, almost assuredly in field goal range to force overtime. Then Huck picked off Hayden Jones to seal the win. Fort Fry is now 9-3 and will take on Grandview Heights in the regional semifinals this Friday night in Logan. From WMOA in Marietta, I'm Andy Rex.
Always seems to be a game like that when you reach this point of the season in the postseason. Next to Knox County, big night on the ground. Here's WMVO's Tyler Mathias.
The Danville Blue Devils, the top seed in Division 7, Region 27, got past Portsmouth Notre Dame by a final score of 60-2 on Friday night on Tough Street in Danville. And it was a rushing attack for the Danville Blue Devils this past Friday night, as a team they ran for 334 yards, 135 yards from Aiden Burke and a pair of touchdowns, while Cybern Wallace, the freshman, ran for 80 yards and 2 scores in the ball game as well. The Danville Blue Devils will take on Corning Miller at Thornville Sheridan this Friday night in a regional semifinal. Reporting from WMVO and WQIO, out of Mount Vernon, I'm Tyler Mathias.
Final stop as we circle back around to Logan County. A couple of big nights there as we hear from WPKO's Chad Wilkinson.
In Division 5, Region 20, Indian Lake leaned on their defense again Friday night, forcing 5 Preble Shawnee turnovers and holding an Arrows offense that was averaging 42 points per game to 162 total yards in a 28-14 victory. The Lakers' defense has now created 9 turnovers in their 2 playoff games. They'll go to Fairborn High School to face Greenview this week. Also in Region 20, the West Liberty Salem Tigers returned the opening kickoff 78 yards for a touchdown and never looked back in beating Miami East 60-28. Senior quarterback Nick Shiflett threw for 276 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for 141 yards and 2 more scores. West Liberty Salem will face Waynesville at UD Welcome Stadium on Friday. From 98.3 WPKO in Bell Fountain, I'm Chad Wilkinson.
Thanks to all of our great affiliates. Another fantastic whip around the state of Ohio. Great job by everybody. Home teams, we heard about Grandview. How about St. Henry?
Minster took care of them, and they're done. St. Henry's done.
All right, Paul, we know that Moeller advanced. We heard you talking about it. I think they get Princeton on Friday.
They do, and they're going to honor Jerry Faust, the former head coach who passed away last night. Coach Faust, who was my typing teacher in high school. Coach Moeller does 6 state titles before he went to Notre Dame and then to Akron.
Coach Cooper follows Upper Arlington. They advance. They will play Olentangy Liberty coming up this week in the regional semis. Our top performers from around the state was presented by the American Dairy Association Mideast. A reminder that chocolate milk has 8 grams of protein to fuel everyone, including Ohio State offensive lineman Donovan Jackson. He's built like a Buckeye, and you can be too. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/built like a Buckeye to learn more. There was some craziness we all know in the top 25. We'll discuss after further review as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Union Home Mortgage's 1% down payment program is like kicking an extra point or scoring a 2-point conversion. You put 1% down, and Union Home Mortgage will kick in up to 2% on the house. Visit UHM.com or call 877-846-4968 today. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,500 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
Hey, Ohio State fans, it takes a lot of energy to root for the Buckeyes. That's why Burger King is going to get your team going with the $20 Buckeye Blitz Bundle. This OSU fan exclusive has a delicious lineup that includes 2 Whopper sandwiches, 1 cheeseburger, 3 small fries, and 3 small drinks. Get over to your local BK and get fueled up for game day. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota truck. Now through December 2nd, get 1.99 APR financing or $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or lease a 24 Tacoma SR5 double cab for $279 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Nobody builds trucks better than Toyota. Let's go places.
The National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Columbus preserves and shares the stories of our nation's veterans from all branches and all eras of service. With a gift of $20 or more, you can honor a veteran in your life by dedicating a flag in their name to be displayed on the museum's expansive grounds on Veterans Day weekend. Your gift will be matched, and your veteran's name will be shared on our website. Learn more at nationalvets.org.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint. With their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind or grab a carryout. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody. Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. Coach Cooper will be back with us coming up next week. The Foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State football game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the Foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit OSU5050.com.
Buckeye Roundtable.
Greatest play. After further review.
The snap by King, the swivel. He pulls it. He runs right. He's got a lane toward the pylon and in. Touchdown, Jackets. Haynes King, sleight of hand, and he rumbles in for 6.
Andy Demetra, Georgia Tech Network. Yellow Jackets upset Miami 28-23. They've been playing with fire for weeks, Paul. They finally got burned, but the schedule's really in their favor. But still, congrats to Georgia Tech with the win.
Well, I was going to say there are some people, Skip Mosic, who thought karma finally caught up with the Miami Hurricanes with the way they were able to get some of the wins they had earlier in this season. But, you know, listening to some of the national radio shows over the weekend, there are those Miami fans unhappy with Mario Cristobal because he seems to make the most puzzling coaching decisions in games against Georgia Tech. The same thing happened last year. Interesting.
Cam Ward in Miami, they went for it on fourth down, and I think 3 times, though, they were unsuccessful. You know, hit an incompletion and had a turnover, interception on one, and another one they had a penalty that backed them up, ended up being a touchdown, ended up coming off the board. They didn't get it on fourth down. And if those are huge when you go for it on fourth down and you want to have success, and give Georgia Tech credit. They got them over on downs a couple times there.
Schedule's really in their favor. And, again, if they win the ACC title game, they're going to get a bye, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Staying in the ACC, could Pittsburgh bounce back from their first loss of the season as they hosted Virginia?
1st and 10 for the Wahoos. Calander looks over his right shoulder towards the sideline, gets the play, claps, snap comes, hip high. Calander throws over the middle to Xavier Brown, makes the catch to the 10-5, touchdown! His second tonight! And Virginia races down the field. They're an extra point away from taking the lead against top 20.
25, Pittsburgh.
John Freeman, Virginia Network Cavaliers hand Pitt their second loss in as many weeks. They're still ranked. I can't believe they're still ranked, but Virginia with the win 24-19.
You know, Tony Elliott, when he took that job at Virginia and left Clemson, and that's where a lot of people thought Dabo Swinney's troubles came because he lost both his coordinators, but he really had a big rebuilding job to do there at Virginia. So a nice signature win for Coach Tony Elliott.
2 straight now for Pitt. I mean, that's started out 7-0 and
we're top 10 last week.
Yeah, and now you lost 2 in a row, and this one was at home. They
didn't
played,
have quarterback injury, I think.
They might have. I know that Holstein played the majority of the game this last game.
Okay, I think he was out the previous game.
Yeah, it's looking like SMU and Miami there as far as if things just play out the way it looks like it's going to.
How about SMU, too?
I know, good story. Clemson's still an outside chance, but they're going to need some help. To the Big 12, wild game between BYU and Utah. It came down to the end.
Vanderhaar will hold. There's the snap, the placement, the kick on its way, and it is through for 3. And where there's a will, there is a way. The score is 22-21. BYU takes the lead with 3 seconds on the clock.
Greg Rubel, BYU Radio, Will Farron with the winner. All kinds of craziness in the final drive to lead to that attempt. But bottom line, BYU remains unbeaten. They beat Utah there 22-21.
Yeah, the Holy War resumes, and Utah's AD got fined for comments about the officials. Yeah, give him credit for stepping up and speaking his mind, but hit him right in the purse. Yeah.
No, that was tough. And, I thought there was holding. I mean, I saw the play. It looked like it was holding on the replay. I mean, he did grab some jersey there, so I don't know how they can, overcall that. But that you got to give BYU credit. Yeah. They scored 9 in the fourth quarter to come back in that game after Utah had the lead for most of the game.
We've often seen they don't call holding, especially on the defense, sometimes at the end of games, Paul Keels.
Yes, we
saw last Thursday night. More Big 12 surprises. Kansas hosted Iowa State.
2nd and 10, drop back for Beck. Throws high, intercepted. Mello Dotson has got it at the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Kansas. Touchdown, Mello Dotson. Lightning strikes twice. Back-to-back years with a pick 6 at the hands of Iowa State.
Brian Haney on Learfield. Jayhawks hand Iowa State their second loss, 45-36.
And that's kind of crazy because you think how close Iowa State came to still being undefeated going into this football game. And, Lance Leipold was a guy that his name was being mentioned for every coaching job that was open a couple of years ago. He sticks in there in Kansas. They don't have the season that they expected to be, but what a big win.
They were 2-6. I mean, Kansas, and they knock them off and get that win. I still like Rocco Beck. I think he's a heck of a quarterback. He threw for 383 yards. Of course, you heard that interception there. But what Iowa State didn't do was stop the run. No. I mean, they gave up 237 yards on the ground, and John Haycock, the defense coordinator, usually does a great job coordinating that defense and stopping that. But Iowa State, 2 in a row.
A team that's climbed their way back into the Big 12 picture is Colorado. Saturday, the Buffaloes were at Texas Tech.
2nd down and 19. There's a little screen off of the left-hand side. Caught by Travis. Turns a corner. On his way to the end zone. And he leaps into the end zone with joy. And Colorado scores with 1:18 to play in the third. Travis Hunter.
Mark Johnson on Learfield. Don't look now, but Colorado. Mark Johnson's good. Some guy sees. Colorado has put themselves right back into that Big 12 picture.
And you know what they've done is they've established themselves on both lines of scrimmage. That was their big undoing last year. And even going into the season, a lot of people thought with all the glitz and glamour about Deion Sanders and his team, could they handle things in the trenches? They're doing a better job of that.
Well, they got a wide receiver, Travis Hunter. I mean, he's
a little good.
Okay.
9 catches for 99 in that ball game. He made all kind of plays, and it ended up being the difference against Texas Tech.
To the Mountain West, Boise State just keeps doing what they do as they hosted Nevada.
2 tight ends and a wingback. Genty behind Madsen. Crow now moves over to the left side. Handoff Genty. Genty up the middle. Genty into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the night. The hat trick for Ashton Genty. 23rd rushing touchdown of the season for Ashton Genty.
Baylor on Learfield. Boise State is 8-1. Their lone loss again by 3 at Oregon.
What would we be saying about Boise State if they won that game?
Oh, my goodness.
Or what would we be saying about Oregon had Boise State won that game? But they kind of seeming now, depends on what Army does, but Boise State seems to be clearing the way to get that Group of 5 bid into the playoff field.
And Genty's kind of getting his invitation to New York in the mail. Another 200-yard game, 209, and 3 TDs in that ball game. He's been unbelievable this year.
Wrap things up in the SEC. Big one, Ole Miss hosted number 3 Georgia.
There's the snap. He's got a man in the end zone, Wells, and he catches it. Does he hold it? Touchdown! Ole Miss right under the goalpost. Juice Wells snags it out of the sky.
David Kellum on Learfield. Ole Miss, a huge win over Georgia, 28-10.
Does this eliminate Georgia? No. You don't think so?
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
But
does it keep Ole Miss in the running?
Yes. All right. Yes. Still a lot of games in the SEC coming up.
Yeah, they both had 2 losses, but Jackson Dart, outplayed Carson Beck in that ball game and got him the win.
If you're asking me, my answer.
That's what I was asking.
I think no. I could be wrong. A lot of people think I'm wrong about everything. Other than staying in the SEC, many calling this though an elimination game as LSU hosted Alabama.
Josh Cuevas in the ball game for Alabama. He is split wide of the near side of the field. Milroe, quarterback draw, has room 30, 35, 40, foot race across midfield, 30, 20, 10, good night, touchdown Alabama. 72 yards.
Chris Stewart on Learfield. Bama wins big at LSU, 42-13.
So you're saying LSU's eliminated?
Yes,
now.
Yes. Difference between 2 and 3. I can count that high.
Certainly Jalen Milroe is showing what kind of, and here's a guy that runs the way he does, but they operated with a lead most of the game, so they kind of played into that.
And he just ran 12 times, but it was for 185 yards and 4 TDs. I mean, he is unbelievable. He's hard to tackle, and that's going to be whoever's playing Alabama, if he's playing like that, that's going to be a tough out.
Coming up this week, there is a huge game. Tennessee is at Georgia. And obviously, if they still have any chance, they cannot lose again. And it's going to find it very difficult if they don't get past Tennessee.
Well, and Tennessee's going to need Nico Iamaleava. That's what his last name is to be able to play well.
His name was just like singular, like Nico. That's
Nico.
That's what we hear all the time. Up next, speaking of hearing all the time, we will hear Matt Andrews talk to Ohio State quarterback Will Howard as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Family dinners, game nights, and holiday parties. It all happens at home. And we want to help you realize your dream of homeownership. We're the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, and if you're ready to buy a home, we may be able to help. Visit myohiohome.org for more information on down payment assistance, lower interest rates, and more. OFA makes purchasing a home more affordable. Visit myohiohome.org. Home ownership. Make it part of your future.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State championship quarterback Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction. but I also needed the right support system. I remember seeing that CareSource heart around town and just knowing they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. And that means the world to so many children today. My name is Cardell Jones, and I was a CareSource kid.
CareSource, your Medicaid, your choice. Visit caresource.com/Medicaid.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This is Ohio State head football coach Ryan Day, asking you to help provide 2 million meals to feed our community. Just round up at the register today. Every dollar provides 10 meals for neighbors in need. Get in the game and let's tackle hunger.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day concert series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board and book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Buckeyes and beat cancer.
This is the Elk and Elk Report on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Real quick on the two deep, Jim. Concern for a moment was everybody on the offensive line when Carson Hinsman needed to come out, but he would return.
As Carson Hinsman said after the game, thank God for Don Joy braces. But I tell you, I had a similar experience with a Don Joy brace, and I tore an ACL, MCL, but my brace did break. I don't know if his did or not. So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But in this case for Carson Hinsman, it did. You saw Austin Saravelt step in and get some series or get a series at that guard spot at left guard. And then good thing was Carson was able to come back in the ball game and finish the game. So good news for Ohio State, good news for Carson that he was able to stay healthy. But it's good to see Austin come in, in that type of situation and be able to bail us out.
Our two deep report was presented by Elk and Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
For Buckeye Roundtables from the Sidelines Report on the Ohio State Sports Network.
Ohio State beats Purdue 45-0. Big day from quarterback Will Howard as we hit the sidelines post-game with our Matt Andrews.
You're 21 of 26, 3 touchdowns passing. Take me through your performance and the passing game as a whole today.
Yeah, I think we did some good things. There's definitely some plays that I left out there. I think that we left out there and that I would want back. But that's football, and you're never going to be perfect. So we got to get back to it and look at what I did good, what I did bad, but coming out of it with over 80% completion, no turnovers, that's always good. But there's definitely some stuff to clean up.
Was there a bit of a more emphasis on you running the ball today? At least initially, it looked like it.
Yeah, not a ton, but it kind of just happened that way, and I felt like I ended up just pulling the ball on some stuff, and we had it kind of built in. So, they just crash their ends, and if they're going to let me pull the ball, then I'm going to do it. And, so yeah.
You got a Mecca there late with one catch, but Jeremiah early was huge. I think it was 6 catches at halftime. What kind of a luxury is that for you?
Oh, he's the best receiver in the country. I got 3 of the best receivers in the country on my team, and and our 2s are going to be great as well. So I got a wealth of riches out there, and Jeremiah had a great game today, and Mecca's as solid as they come, and Carnell did some really good things too. So I'm fired up. I got the best receiving core in the country around me.
You could argue today you had the best defense in the country. Pitch a shutout, kind of a luxury. Is that for the quarterback here?
It's huge. And when your defense can pitch a shutout, I think that offense is better than a lot of people give him credit for. And I think, Hudson's a good buddy of mine, and he's a good player, man. And for them to put up that performance, it really, really juices up your offense.
Wrigley Field next week. What's your initial thought on going up there to play a football game?
That'll be interesting. I don't think I've ever played a football game on a baseball field, but that'll be cool. I've been to Wrigley one time. I'm excited to go back. That's a historic venue. So, but any chance we get to play football, and on Saturdays, man, I'm fired up.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Will Howard, fellas, back to you.
All right, Matty, you guys talked about it after the game. You hated to call it a bounce-back game for Howard, but really a solid effort from that quarterback.
No question. And, what he had at Penn State was a roller coaster, but the ride at the end of it was a great part of it. What he did this past Saturday was, and we've mentioned it before, Skip, a number of times, it's what Ohio State brought him here for. Create the rushing threat. And, yeah, there were a couple of times it looked like maybe he'd tear off something a little longer, but threw the ball all around, and he's been able to take advantage of all of those different weapons, and maybe even more crucial, throwing the ball to Travion Henderson with that one big gainer they had down the sideline.
No, that was nice by Travion, where he got one-on-one coverage outside, linebacker, and when they walked him out there, you're kind of thinking, okay, is he going to go to him? And certainly Travion put a nice little dip move inside and wasn't an easy type throw, but I thought Will made that throw with ease and made some plays there. Him throwing the football has been impressive all year long. I mean, he's the highest percentage. He's number 2 in the quarterback rating right now in the country, and is at 74%. That's a pretty high clip for a quarterback.
Nobody else probably thought about George Carlin's baseball versus football analogy.
Oh, my God.
Hearing him talk about
wow.
baseball and football in a baseball stadium, whatever. And no, there's football's in a stadium. Baseball's in a field. Is in a park. It's in a park. Yeah. Up next, we will have our Insiders Access report. Patrick Murphy from 24/7 Sports will join us as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Hey, Buckeye fans, Union Home Mortgage's 1% down payment program is like kicking an extra point or scoring a 2-point conversion. You put 1% down, and Union Home Mortgage will kick in up to 2% on the house. Visit UHM.com or call 877-846-4968 today. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,500 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
We have acres of brand new Chevys, Chryslers, Jeeps, Dodges, and Ram vehicles, as well as used cars and trucks that you're looking for at the Juppweiler Columbus Auto Mall in Canal Winchester. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we can find it at one of our 23 other locations. So come shop the lot or view over 2,000 cars right at your fingertips at JuppweilerColumbusAutomall.com. Plus, use Weiler Direct to see monthly payments, value your trade, and get pre-approved. Rooted in family, driven by you.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mosic. Buckeye Roundtable is brought to you in part by Encova Insurance. Encova, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Roundtable Insiders.
Joined for a few minutes now by Patrick Murphy, 24/7 Sports. And Patrick, thank you for joining us. We hear coaches say for years, defense wins championships. What are we seeing from this Ohio State defense now that maybe we weren't, maybe even a month ago?
I think some of it has to do with letting Jim Knowles do some of the things that he's had success with in the past. And I think when he arrived at Ohio State, he was given some license to do mostly what he wanted, but it had to fit within the framework of the players and some of the staff and scheme that was already in place. And now, trying to re-engineer, as Ryan Day put it, some of that after the Oregon game, they've given Jim Knowles a little bit more license. And I think you saw that on the third defensive drive on Saturday when they went with 3 down linemen in the jack position and things like that. But I think they've also simplified things a little bit, gone back to basics, allowing the players to do the things that make them successful. And I think that has worked. It sounds simple, but really as you get through a season and you're trying to figure out different things, I think you tend to overthink things sometimes, and if it took the Oregon game to get this right and find what works best, then I think the Buckeyes will take that if it gets them to where they want to go.
Patrick, without Tyleik Williams playing in that ball game again, he kind of went through warm-ups. He didn't really know until the first snap. I was thinking, well, probably be Caden McDonald coming off that big performance he had against Penn State, but they slid in Edric Houston, who played a little bit of defensive tackle the last couple of weeks, into that starting role. What have you seen out of Edric Houston and the defensive line, the defensive tackles as a whole right now?
I like what we've seen from Edric. I mean, early on in the year, he was playing on the edge, which is where he was recruited to play. And I think he had a big pass deflected early on in the season, late in one of the games that was intercepted by Gabe Powers. So he was doing some work from early on. And then as the years progressed, they've recognized the possibility of his future being on the interior. And Ryan Day said, we could still move him back. He's still capable of playing on the edge. But as you kind of look at, what the Buckeyes will need going forward, I think he projects well as a guy who could do some things. Ty Hamilton talked about the number of guys that have come through Ohio State and have started out as an edge rusher and then gone on and end up being defensive tackles in the NFL. We'll see if Edric ends up doing those same things, but I certainly think he has the size and the skill. It gives you a guy with some pass rushing instincts on the interior, which has been helpful in the past. So I think it's at least worth a shot here early on in his career to get him ready for that position. And, like I said, you can move him back if you need to.
Murph, not so much significant to the Purdue game, but over the course of the whole season, what's kind of the influence of Chip Kelly in the offense that you've been able to detect?
Well, I think from a visible standpoint, you can see some of the different plays that he's installed, the creativity that he has, and not that the Buckeyes were lacking that. Obviously, Ryan Day had some of that before, but I think anytime you bring somebody new in to kind of re-examine the offense, you get some new ideas, right? And I mean, even going to the Purdue game, you saw Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson on the field together with Travion lined up out wide, and you got some mixed results, including the Travion Henderson touchdown, but there was also a play that got blown up. So things like that, I think, are certainly the obvious things. But I think what it's done for Ryan Day, and you guys know this being around him, I do think because of the trust he has with Chip Kelly, he has really become that CEO role that we talked about in the offseason, stepped back, allowed Chip Kelly to really take over calling the plays, and he can trust that Kelly will handle the things in the right way because he knows him so well. So I think behind the scenes it's been big, and then obviously some of the stuff they've done on the field.
You're seeing a little bit more of Jermaine Matthews these last couple of weeks stepping in, giving some time for Davidson Igbinosun and Denzel Burke. And, those guys both have played a lot of snaps throughout their careers. But I think Jermaine, there's really no drop-off. He's done an outstanding job when he's been out there.
Yeah, I think if you took the numbers off the back of the jerseys and just let the guys play, you probably wouldn't notice that they brought somebody else in. I think we saw this 2 years ago, right, against Penn State when he started for Denzel, and a guy who can step into that kind of atmosphere against a top team like Penn State and, not have any noticeable issues, I think, you got something there. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen a little bit more of Jermaine Matthews, just to kind of get his feet wet. Obviously, next year you're going to need him even more. But I think when he has gotten the opportunity, he has shown that he's stayed ready. And, I think in today's age of college football, when guys can enter the transfer portal at any time, I think it's good to see a guy like that, a young guy like that, who's willing to put in the work behind the scenes and then jump at the opportunity when it comes.
Kind of knowing what the answer is, but is it that much more impressive that Jermaine Smith's doing what he's doing when you know it's coming? Jeremiah Smith, yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think you've seen teams try and take him away more. As Ryan Day said, if you want to take one guy away, we've got two others that can burn you. But it hasn't worked. Even in the game where he doesn't reach the end zone, he still has a good game. I thought it was interesting after last week's game, he was asked what his favorite catch of the season is, and it was not the one-handed touchdown against Michigan State. It was the play before when his face mask was being grabbed, and he was asked why, and he's like, I did the one-handed touchdown grab in high school. Like, that's just kind of the mentality of this kid, and, I haven't seen anybody come up with a game plan to slow him down. The only thing has been when Ohio State hasn't thrown him the ball early in games, but that's not because the defenses have been able to shut him down, and the Buckeyes have obviously been able to find ways to get him the ball each game at some point.
Patrick, the CFP rankings come out in about 45 minutes or so, kind of unprecedented. We could see 4 Big Ten teams and maybe in the top 5. We know it's not going to stay that way. Only one will stay there, but how do you see things shaping up when these rankings are unveiled here in about 45 minutes?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think Indiana going and beating Michigan this past week was a big hurdle, at least outside of the program, for perception. They hadn't played a team like that, blue blood program, and they handled business. Maybe it wasn't as convincing as some of their other wins, but it didn't need to be when you're playing a team like that. And then obviously they've got the big one coming up here in a couple weeks against Ohio State. Penn State didn't let the Ohio State loss kind of ruin things for them. They were able to get the job done against Washington. So, I think it's nice to have. We hear all the time nationally about the SEC and, that being the top conference. Well, look at the rankings right now. I think it reflects, at least at the top of the Big Ten, how good this conference is. And, even if there are a couple more losses, if Indiana loses, if Ohio State beats Oregon at some point in the Big Ten championship game or whatnot, I think you still are very happy with kind of the makeup of the top of the Big Ten, not just this year, but going forward.
Patrick Murphy, 24/7 Sports. Patrick, we appreciate you hopping on tonight, okay?
Absolutely. Good talk with you guys.
All right. Again, Patrick Murphy, you can check his stuff out at 24/7 Sports. We have reached almost the end of tonight's journey. We will wrap things up with some unheralded chalk talk as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Ohio State fans, it takes a lot of energy to root for the Buckeyes. That's why Burger King is going to get your team going with the $20 Buckeye Blitz Bundle. This OSU fan exclusive has a delicious lineup that includes 2 Whopper sandwiches, 1 cheeseburger, 3 small fries, and 3 small drinks. Get over to your local BK and get fueled up for game day. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Union Home Mortgage's 1% down payment program is like kicking an extra point or scoring a 2-point conversion. You put 1% down, and Union Home Mortgage will kick in up to 2% on the house. Visit UHM.com or call 877-846-4968 today. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,500 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
Hey Columbus, looking for the perfect day trip? Head to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Dive into football history, see legendary players, and enjoy interactive exhibits. Fun for the whole family. Visit ProFootballHOF.com for tickets. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, where it's always football season.
The National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Columbus preserves and shares the stories of our nation's veterans from all branches and all eras of service. With a gift of $20 or more, you can honor a veteran in your life by dedicating a flag in their name to be displayed on the museum's expansive grounds on Veterans Day weekend. Your gift will be matched, and your veteran's name will be shared on our website. Learn more at nationalvets.org.
Family dinners, game nights, and holiday parties. It all happens at home, and we want to help you realize your dream of homeownership. We are the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, and if you're ready to buy a home, we may be able to help. Visit myohiohome.org for more information on down payment assistance, lower interest rates, and more. OFA makes purchasing a home more affordable. Visit myohiohome.org. Home ownership. Make it part of your future.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mosic. We had some fun tonight, fellas.
Yes, we did.
Are you just saying that, or have you had some fun?
I've had fun, Skip.
As much fun as sitting on a beanbag chair watching TV.
Buckeye Roundtable is proudly presented by Burger King. Visit your local BK restaurant to grab your $20 Buckeye Blitz bundle. That includes 2 Whoppers, a cheeseburger, 3 small fries, 3 small drinks, and a custom OSU crown.
Ooh.
You eat that on a beanbag chair.
Yes, you can. And a ham.
I'll be able to get up.
Only at Burger King, where you rule.
Buckeye Roundtable, Chalk Talk.
Let's begin with our delivery of the game. Ohio State at Northwestern Saturday at noon. Who needs to deliver the most for Ohio State to get the win?
I'm going to say the running game, and especially in the red zone. If you look statistically, that's where Northwestern has been good. Now, they've probably not faced a running game like this, but to see them run the football, especially in the red zone, would be a delivery you'd like to watch for.
No, I agree with that, but I think, the key is always when you travel, when you go on the road, you got to play great defense, and this is a team to do it. Right now, looking at Northwestern, they're 18th in our league, and that's all in the bottom of the league in scoring at 19 points a game. They're 18th in third down conversions at 29%, so good time for our defense to continue keeping people out of the end zone. What they've given up 2 touchdowns since the Oregon game.
I think that's it, yeah.
So, that's
and the offense, the defense, yeah.
Yeah, so, a good opportunity for those guys to continue what they've been doing and, get ready for these final 2.
Coach Dave brought this up when he joined us earlier. A couple of years ago, I know it was crazy windy that day, but Ohio State really struggled to come out with a W there in Evanston, similar to this, meaning it's an early local start time late in the year.
Yeah, and at least the early projections, it's not going to be windy like that was. For those who might not know, there was talk about in the warm-ups where Ohio State's punter punted the ball and went backwards. But you saw Ohio State adjust. Emeka Egbuka had a touchdown run in that game. They went to a 3 linebacker set instead of what they usually do to compensate for what Northwestern was doing. But I think that's the thing that we've seen this coaching staff really adapt to what they've had to do.
Yeah, you saw punts go behind the line of scrimmage, and then when the wind was at your back, they went 70 yards. So it was just one of those days, and I'll never forget the wind just getting on the airplane after that ball game, just waiting out at O'Hare, and I'm a big guy, getting almost blown over by the wind. It was like you had to fight it. It was interesting taking off, but we're still here.
Human nature to look ahead to see what's coming, but do you really get the sense that this team knows what's at stake and what happens if they lay an egg.
Well, I think that's what was significant about that Iowa game. Even with Oregon being on the other side of that, you saw a real focus when Ohio State played Iowa, and you saw it this past weekend, coming off a big emotional win against Penn State, being right on point, getting ready for Purdue.
Yeah, they responded. I mean, that's what you got to do, and take it 1-0. And I think Coach Day's done a good job preaching that when I'm at practice about, hey, all the focus is on this week. You can't worry about what's going to happen last week or the next week that follows, but you got to take care of business each and every week. And this team has been an unselfish team. When you look at it, I think they've all kind of bought into that, and that's why they all came back. It was an opportunity to put themselves in this position where they are right now, an opportunity to play for a Big Ten championship. But in the meantime, they got to go out there and take care of their business each and every week.
We talked about it earlier, Jim. You're old enough to play on old grass fields that were multi-use facilities where they would have to put sod there on the baseball dirt once the baseball season ended. We've been told it's terrific that the Cubs have taken great care of that sod. They've covered it up with the rain. So they say at least now the reports we're getting is that should not be an issue come Saturday. And Paul, I wanted to end with you as far as just a fan of nostalgia that you are. Just your thoughts on calling a football game there at Wrigley.
Well,
the Bears played there for years, I know, but still.
And old enough to remember watching games on TV when the Bears still played there. But, having had a chance to go to Wrigley to watch baseball game is really a neat thing. The whole Wrigleyville is really a neat concept. And we know that Buckeye fans travel to the games at Northwestern. They outnumber the Wildcat fans usually at Ryan Field. Probably will be the same at Wrigley Field. But it'll be neat to see what it's like. Lord knows what our angle will look like, but it'll be neat to see it.
We'll make it up. We always
do.
Gail Sayers, right?
Gail Sayers played there.
Bob Kincannon, Dick Butkus,
Brian
Bob Avellini, Brian Piccolo.
Oh, Pick.
Pick. George Hallis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Buckeyes in the NFL. Jim Lachey to take us home.
Well, hey, how about Nick Bosa? It's 3 weeks in a row he's had a sack. His older brother, Joey, though, he's had 70 sacks. He's got his 70th sack of his career. Cam Hayward, man, in his 14th year, picked up his 2 sacks against the Commanders. Jonathan Cooper, after signing that big deal, had 6 tackles and a sack. So that's a lot of sacks for Buckeyes. Marvin Harrison, has 6 TDs now in his rookie year. Terry McLaurin has been on fire. He had 5 receptions for 113 yards. It's his 4th 100-yard game this season. And remember our old long snapper, Jake McQuaid? He got activated.
Still doing it, huh?
14th year. He got activated and got a chance to snap for the Vikings. So shout out to Jake getting it done on special teams.
And people always say, man, there's a career you can make doing that. I mean, your brother snapped. Correct?
Yeah, my brother Ron snapped for a long time.
Kevin Hauser did it for a long time, remember?
Yep. No, it is. You got to have a snapper, and, you don't notice them until things go bad.
All right, guys. Great job tonight. Had fun, okay?
Thank you, Skip. Good job putting it together.
Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. For our producers tonight, Bodie Wells, and for Cole Pertimus. Good job tonight, Cole. And for Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mosic. As always, thank you for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices like America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through December 2nd, you can lease a Camry LE from just $269 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. At Key, we're all about helping our neighbors. As your bank, we understand that we have both the ability and the responsibility to help our neighbors thrive, whether they're trying to buy a car to take them to their new job, or tackle debt that feels unmanageable, or simply trying to do more with what they have. Key Bank is there to meet them in that moment. Key Bank opens doors.
All credit products are subject to credit approval. Key Bank, member FDIC.
To Central Ohioans, fall means one thing, football. At Sears Heating and Cooling, fall also means one thing, furnaces. We're not plumbers or electricians. Nope. For 74 years, we've been your Central Ohio heating and cooling experts. Need an electrician or plumber? We'll gladly give you a referral, but we won't pretend to be your one-stop shop for all the trades. We're HVAC experts, and our mission is to provide the highest quality service at the best possible price. That's the local advantage of doing business with your neighbors at Sears Heating and Cooling. Online at SearsHeatingCooling.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and I love this time of the year, the food, the family, the football, and I want to spend it with my loved ones. I don't want to spend all day in the kitchen, so Bob Evans, they got a solution for you. It's the Thanksgiving celebration, their farmhouse feast. They've got unbelievable options. Me, I love the slow roasted turkey for 6 hours, but you could go with ham as well. They've got unbelievable handcrafted sides. My kids love the homemade celery and dressing. The mashed potatoes with gravy, they're always a winner. They've got tons of them that serves 8 to 10 people, folks, so go check it out at bobevans.com.
Meijer holiday deals are here. Plus, when you spend $100 or more in-store this week, you'll receive a $10 coupon at checkout, redeemable the week of November 17th. Find the perfect gift for even the hardest to buy for on your list. Like assorted Squishmallow plush, only $14.99 each. Select Lego playsets are buy one, get one 40% off. And select games for the entire family are just $10 each or less. Shop Meijer today for even more great holiday deals and savings. Exclusions apply.